9 podcasts.
Hello and welcome to AFLW Weekly. My name is Sarah Burt. I'm joined as always by the lovely Georgie Parker.
It's me.
Hello, George. How are you?
Good. How are you? You up and about?
I'm very well, thank you. Up and about. Go Blues. Speaking of Blues, we have a very exciting guest
We do.
today.
Plug it. You're so excited.
I'm so excited.
You really are.
We have Brendan Fevola on the show today, which we are really, really excited about.
We know he's a girl dad, but he's got a newfound love of the W and respect, and he's obviously one of the coaches at Richmond now.
Yep.
And so he's been kind enough to give up a bit of his time.
Yes, he has. So
what would 10-year-old girl Sarah say to you?
She would be off her rocker. She actually would. She probably just wouldn't speak to him.
You'd go mute. Thank God. I've been
You're
watching.
probably hoping for that. Unfortunately, I've gone the other way in my old age. Let's get into the rest of the episode before we chat to Fev. This weekend was a very big weekend, as always, of footy. Let's start with things that make you go,
Things that make you go,
You got one for us.
I do have one for us, George, and I know that we have different takes on this, which I think is very good. So there has been a fair bit of discussion about the social media presence of AFLW players. And I have been fervent in my opinion that I think it's fantastic. I think it's good for the game. It's building their brand. It's building the team's brand. It is building awareness of the league in general. And it sets them aside from the men's competition in that they have embraced it so much.
Alona Ma, for example, is a perfect example of growing a brand because women don't make as much money. Men don't have to.
Yeah.
Women do. And she's a big, if you don't follow her, you're weird. Most people do.
Yeah.
She's got over 5 million followers or something. She does it because she goes, you have to. You don't have to if you're LeBron.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
So my example, the reason this is it's because you and I have different opinions. I think that it is a really, really good thing that players like Matilda Scholes, who has got the numbers here, combined 47,000 followers on TikTok and Instagram. That almost matches that of the club's whole account. Her posts have millions of views, likes and comments all across each post. She's only 20. She's got a Nike sponsorship. She also has a diploma in social media marketing, which I didn't know, found out this week, is very unsurprising. The reason I use Matilda as an example is because recently there's been a lot of comments on her TikTok saying less dancing, more training, imagine actually training, play footy or go do cheerleading. What are you doing? I have a different opinion on this. The example that I've got is someone said, less training, more playing, on a video that she posted the day before she got 22 disposals, 16 hitouts and 4 goals. I also think it was an 18-second video, dancing, after training. You would have just been sitting there scrolling on your phone anyway. It's not like you're taking up all of this time that you should be training to film videos like this. And it's good for her own brand. It's good for Port Adelaide. It's good for the league in general. The positive comments underneath here, there's fans asking about the game. When's the next game? Young girls saying, I'm going to ask my dad to bring me, which week should I come? Other people saying, see you at Alberton 3:10 this weekend. There's some that are even saying, I've got 2 spare tickets for this weekend. Does anyone want them? There is a lot of engagement between fans happening underneath these videos as well. So you can see it's actually really is generating interest and potentially eventually money for the league. Let's hear your rebuttal.
Now, I've got no problem with social media. Of course, I think it's important for players to create brands. I think that the AFLW has a different brand than the men's and we want to embrace that. However, they did that before they'd just beaten the Suns, if I can make 108 to 40s, it was before that match. They just got pumped by 72 points by North the week before. So my thing is it's time and place where you need to be, if you want to be taken seriously, look serious. And so I understand that it's fun and games it's a balance of everything. But, you know, from an athlete perspective, if we've just been pumped and you're too concerned about what your hair looks like and the dancing video that may or may not go viral, I'd be like, can you pull your head in for a fucking hot second? We've just got pumped. We played a prelim last year and we've not won a game, or we've won one game. So time and place, I've got no problem. So like, yes, we've got differing opinions in this example. I don't have a problem with social media. I've got a problem with doing it when you're not winning. And so the best way, and I said this jokingly in a message thread, the best way to grow the game is by being Chloe Malloy and kicking goals, being good on the field. Matilda Schultz's mark last year, mark of the year last year, better for the game growth than making a TikTok. So while I'm all about growing the game in a fun social sense, being good at footy needs to be your first priority. And so then just reading the room for a second. Okay, do you know what? We've just been pumped. I might put my head down for a second. If you post that after your 4-goal game, you can go kick 4 and won by 70 points on the weekend. So, and I think this is again this is such a generational thing as well. They're teenagers. I'm a millennial. So like we've also got that on the side as well.
The flip side of that is to actually keep up a social media engagement, you have to post every day. You can't dip in and out.
You can post a different sort of thing. You can go, look what we're doing this week.
Crying.
No, not crying, but you can be like, hey, look what this is a day in the life of what we're doing this week. Hey, I'm working. This is an inside of a club. And so I understand that, but with the good comes the bad with social media, and while sometimes it's not warranted, some of the bad, of course. But you don't get a Nike sponsorship without that, right? But I think like you've just got to get the balance right, and appreciate that, you know, if it's a league that is already up against the wall with certain people, so you're always going to have those sorts of comments because the people who are putting those comments don't actually probably want to watch it anyway. No, exactly. And the people who are doing the nice comments are probably already going. So it's just time and place and making sure that those distractions, and I hate pulling out this card because it's like I don't think you have to be able to have played to have these things, but I know from the inside of the four walls of a high performance environment, distractions can unravel individuals because if they start their mind wandering, we had teammates that we had to like go, hey, no, it's the reason why over the Olympics some teams and people go, I'm on a social media ban for this fortnight, because it is a really distracting place. So she probably has a grasp on it, of course, and I think growing the game is really important on socials, and women have to do it to create revenue that men don't. But I think you've just got to be mindful and, you know, just be aware of the perception that from the outside. So while you might think, no, I trained really hard this week, I've got it, I'm hitting BBs, I'm all good, I can do this. The perception from the outside is, hey, you've won one game. Yeah. So I think it's just getting that balance. And also, if you don't really give a fuck as well, then it doesn't matter. Which is also another part of, I think, having social media, a space of which we have to do. I've got to go, I'm going to post this and mute it instantly, not giving a fuck because of how I know it's going to be perceived because people already want to have that lens. So it's a grow the game, but just be mindful. That's a real
That's why I'm picky, because I'm just too damn busy. Turn the L's into W's.
Let's get into our L's and W's for the week. What have you got for me, Georgie?
Which one do you want first?
Give me the L and then we'll finish on a positive.
L, well, the Giants, are they going to win a game this year?
I can't see where it's going to happen.
No, so they've just lost to Gold Coast, a very undermanned Gold Coast.
They should, you should be winning that.
Exactly. There was no Charlie Rowbottom, so who's winning their contested ball? They basically had no defensive unit. All their major 3 defenders are out. They had more inside 50s. I think it was 7 more inside 50s. Still wasn't able to win. So my concern is I don't see them getting better. Going back a couple of weeks ago to how are they going to get better in years to come? So I'm really concerned about them. So that's my big L, is that if you can't beat a very undermanned another bottom side, what does that look like?
Yep.
What about you?
Mine is similar. Mine's the disparity between the top and bottom teams. We've discussed it before. Now we've had 4 rounds, and it seems pretty early to run with this, but we're a third of the way through the season. So that's sort of one of the quirks of AFLW is, yes, we've only seen 4 games, but that's all we have to go by, and we are a third of the way through the season. The chasm that's emerged between the best and worst teams is large and larger than we've seen. We know, and I'm not a numbers gal, but these sort of show you exactly what I'm talking about. The Kangaroos have a percentage of 492.1.
Yep. You compare that to the men's, it's 140 is the top.
Yeah.
So like when we're doing comparisons.
Yeah. So they're one
That's
of
too high.
I dare say it is. They're one of 4 undefeated teams. Melbourne, Sydney, Hawks are all sitting 4-0 with percentages all over 150. Again, too high.
Yeah.
Then Adelaide and Brisbane, who we know historically the best teams in the league, neither of them have been at their absolute full force dominant like we know them. Still both have a percentage of 134. Bottom 8 teams, Port Adelaide in 10th, down to the Giants in 18th. They've either won 1 game or none. The bottom 6 clubs all have a percentage of 60 or less.
Yeah.
And my question is, and we could talk about this all day, probably symptomatic of expansion. Are we doing the right thing in the draft? And there has been Shiloh Curtis, who's a women's football expert,
legend.
absolute legend, and has been around the traps in the state leagues and grassroots footy as well for a long time. She knows how it all works sort of bottom up in the system. She suggested that we tally up wins and performances from 3 years and average it out, and that's how you work out the draft. It's quite a complex sort of system that she has devised. There needs to be something in that, something like that, because otherwise the talent pool is too stretched. Something else that Shiloh mentioned this week, she spoke to Ben Waterworth from Fox Sports, and in that article she also said, well, it's been uneven since the start because the first 8 teams, they all went for the best talent. Maybe it's stretching out a little bit now, but once the other teams came in, those best players were already part of that established team.
And also Adelaide, for example, had pick of the lot in Adelaide.
Yeah.
Yeah, Fremantle had pick of the lot in there. Brisbane had pick of the lot before Gold Coast came in as well.
And
so
we've
you're
only
having
just gone to a national draft too.
Yes,
so,
exactly.
Yeah.
So you could it was again skewed there again.
Yeah.
And I think it's as well amplified by the difficult nature of scoring.
Yeah.
As well. So if you are already behind, and that seems counterproductive with what counterintuitive, whatever I'm talking about, of the two, of what we're trying to say, of like, we're winning by a lot, North Melbourne, but then the other teams that are struggling to score are scoring 15 points. So there's more massive blowouts in this compared to the men again as well.
Yeah. And if you're North Melbourne, you want a hot competition. It's like what M. Bates said last week. Yeah, happy we won, but no one wants to watch a low-scoring, boring game of footy. So it's not great for the league in general. But it's not those teams. Like, if it was one team that was just terrible, tanking every single year, that would be really hard. But we know this is a league-wide issue.
Exactly. And it is. It's not just the bottom one, like in men. We'll use men because it's got the biggest data and most people know. North Melbourne and West Coast have been the bottom dwellers for a while, but the others have been moving around.
Yeah.
And you can see light on the other end. But you look at like Giants, example of that, I don't see how they're getting out of that.
No.
So, and that they haven't ever made finals. And I mean, neither had Suns in the men's until this week. So, but yeah, like there is such a difference from lower down. As opposed, the middle ground isn't even matching it with the top. Yeah. Whereas in the men's, the middle ground can match it with the top.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the difference here. The lower ground is way bigger.
Yes, correct. Let's talk about some positives. Have you got a W for me?
Yeah, I've got a good one. So West Coast having a great season really under Daisy Pearce. But what I really like about it is that there is some clear return on investment in what Daisy Pearce has done in terms of she has now got 2 full-time either fitness or high performance people in her team. She's got Wesley Salisbury, which is head of strength and conditioning. And then she's gone and stolen Sam Batterson for head of high performance. She stole them from Melbourne. And they've got 2 people in there. You can see the clear difference in their fitness. Their last 2 weeks, they've been able to run over teams, kicking 5 goals in the last quarter. The last 2 weeks of their team, when you're coming into the meaty chunk of the season and feeling fit and ready. And for me, it looks as though there's a clear return from investment from a club of, hey, you put some money in, we'll get some outcomes.
Yep.
And so you compare that to the Giants, who have only for the first time in their history had a full-time conditioning person this year. So it's nice to see that for me is great to see. And it's, again, just another reminder. You invest? Good.
Yeah.
Thumbs up, good.
Big W.
How about you?
My W, and part of it is a bit of an L, but mostly I'm going to take the positive spin on it.
You're such an optimist. I dream of having this.
My W for the week is Meg McDonald, skipper of the Cats, who unfortunately was not selected in the top 21 this week. Let's just have a listen to what she said in the change rooms to her replacement, Lexi Gregor.
I speak a little bit about how footy's given me the opportunity to connect across generations and different types of people, and that's one of the best things about playing. And I feel like meeting you this year has been so beautiful. I'm like city gal, I'm a city gal, you're a country gal. We're completely different age groups, but I hope you feel that we've also had a really nice friendship along the way. I've learned a lot from you, and I value that deeply. I think you're an incredibly popular member of the playing group, and that's because you know exactly who you are, which is really impressive at your age. And you're also incredibly frank with who you are, with your mistakes. You get on with it, you move on quickly, and you accept that, and you are incredibly respectful, and you want to get better and be part of this team. So I think that's going to hold you in amazing stead for a really, really long career. That's really important in this sport, which is so unpredictable, and things go wrong all the time, but you look like you have the temperament to just get on with it. Value this opportunity. I hope there are hundreds and hundreds more to come. Get loud out there, spoil from behind, play like a big girl.
My W is a sign of fantastic leadership. She wasn't selected this week based on performance.
Which is bold from the Cats, and I like it. I really like it. It's such a tough, big call to drop your captain.
Yep, it is indeed. Just a beautiful person, a really fantastic leader. And this just made me think, even though it's not great to not be able to pick your captain in your top 21.
I think it's a good sign in a way,
I
to be
think
honest.
it's a good sign because she showed why she's captain. I think that is just a huge W for the league in general. She's showing leadership. She's showing that she actually cares about other players and the development of the league in general. She was not sour, and I just think that it was a really beautiful moment in this round. Today, we are very lucky to be joined by a familiar face in footy and entertainment. Brendan Fevola, the legendary forward, 3-time All-Australian, turned radio host now, joined the Richmond Tigers as a specialist coach this season. He's obviously got a lot of expertise from 204 games and 623 career goals at Carlton and Brisbane. Go Blues! 2 Coleman medals and a strong coaching stint at Yarrawonga. He has such an infectious energy and passion for women's footy. He is also a dad to 4 wonderful girls. We're so excited to have Fev in here to talk about his newfound love of women's footy. Fev, thank you so much for joining us on AFLW Weekly.
I'm just going to put this out there. She's a massive Blues fan. She wanted to wear a Carlton gear and then was like, oh, I don't want to look like a massive nuff. So I want to say this is really big for Sez.
You just thrown her under the bus, haven't
Yeah,
you?
don't worry.
Oh.
It's
I was
amazing.
playing it so cool.
That's all right. The Blues, geez, they struggled, haven't they? That's
Yeah.
probably why you don't wear the scarf.
Well, yeah, I didn't want to bring it up.
No.
It's in the microwave at the moment.
Along with everyone's membership.
That's right.
Who was your favourite player?
Brendan Fevola.
Oh.
You ask that all the time.
I was just going to say me, but I thought I'll ask just in case it was someone else. But there was no one else really.
Exactly. Who else?
I carried
Tough
everyone on my
choice.
shoulders. It was a tough choice.
I thought I'd just embarrass her
Yeah,
before we
thanks.
start.
Yeah.
On that note,
Oh, she's
that note-
melted.
Well, now you're a tickie.
Yeah, I'm a tiger.
How was that? How's that felt as you're wearing different colours?
Well, it's weird, George, because I never thought I'd be in any form of coaching because it just doesn't interest me, especially with the boys, because the boys just don't listen. So
They're
it's just
annoying.
like boys are no good. And I'm a girl dad. I've got 4 girls. So, and I love the AFLW. So how it happened was, I said something about Craig Kelly, who is from Collingwood. I said certain things and he blew up hard, and I had to apologise. And then as a punishment, he said, you got to go down and train the AFLW girls. And I'm like, okay,
Also,
cool.
not a punishment.
Not a punishment. But I was like, okay. So I went down and trained the girls and fucking loved it. Like,
Yeah.
I rang my wife afterwards and she's like, geez, you're up and about. I said, I just trained for an hour and a half. I've been on the couch for 10 years. And I was just in there. I was training and I was getting involved. I was running up and down, marking and like teaching the girls stuff. And they were like literal sponges. They just wanted to hear everything and learn. And then like I got a bit of a bug back for footy, and then I was down actually on the piss.
Shocking.
With, funny that, with a mate of mine, Tony Sheehan, who Mike Sheehan's son, who's obviously one of the great writers of AFL footy. And so I met Alex through Tony. So we go back years and years. So we're on the piss, and then Tony's sister Kate was there with her boys, and I didn't know Kate was involved in Richmond. And we were chatting away, and I'm talking about AFLW, and we're talking, just chewing the fat over summer. And then she started like quizzing me a bit, and I'm like, she's like really
Job interview.
Yeah, she's really trying to like ask me, and I knew them all because I literally watch nearly every game of the AFLW because I just find it, I just love it. And then she said, I'm like the big boss at Richmond. Do you want to be a forwards coach? I go,
Straight
yeah,
up
done.
like that.
And that was done.
Don't even talk money.
She goes, but don't. There's no money. We know what it's like
Again,
at AFLW level. But yeah, so I had to keep it quiet over summer, and had to go through some sort of logistics stuff. And then, yeah, we've been training for months and months now, obviously, and I've just loved it. They've just been great. It's like I've been there for 10 years. I've never loved footy more. We only train 3 days a week, but I'm in there making the girls do extra. I'm in there every day, pretty much. So
You're going straight from this to there, you said?
straight from here to there. I go straight from work to there. Whether it's goal kicking, touch, watching the. I didn't watch my own tape. I'm watching tapes of the girls like G and Katie Brennan, and I'm sitting there and I'm watching, and we're coding, and I'm at home and I'm watching Alex says, I've got a laptop. I've never had a laptop ever in my whole life.
Can you imagine I can imagine your coaches would have been like, hey, Fev, can you just put a little bit more effort outside of the training hours we're giving you? And you'd be from here to here.
Oh, it's
They're
tough
now
to go any
watching you.
higher, but it's,
They're now watching you going, God, if
Coding.
only you
I
watched
know.
the tapes.
I literally blokes like who coach me were like, we've got to watch a tape. I know. I don't need to watch it. Like I know what happened.
Yeah,
Like,
I was there.
Yeah, I was there.
I
I
kicked
kicked
10.
8, whatever. Don't need to watch it back. But I'd literally never watched any tape, and now I'm sitting there with the girls, and we're going over their tape, and we're trying to educate them on what they should and shouldn't do, or how good that was. And mate, I'm cutting up other people's tapes from other clubs and showing them how like leading patterns and stuff. I'm like, what's happened to me? I'm at home, and Alex is like, you've never been more into something. And I'm like, yeah, like it's literally. It's not a stretch. It's literally changed my life. Like it's made me happier. It's made me fitter. It's like given me a purpose in a way. It's so weird to explain. People will be like, that's bullshit, but it's actually not. Like I'm just happier, which is strange.
Isn't it amazing? Because we talk all the time on this pod. The purpose of the
Yeah.
podcast is that we both feel like it makes our lives much better. It's the community. It's the vibe. It is a lot of the time, and you would have experienced this too, when you talk to people about AFLW, people don't understand just how different it is to the men's side of things. And you've got inside knowledge on both sides of it. What is it about AFLW that has injected that love for footy back into you? And do you feel like they're really quite different?
Well, a lot of people shit can the AFLW, which is awful. A lot of the men in this world who are old
Can't
school,
catch a ball.
yeah, and they just, but they obviously shit can players as well in the AFL men. But I think with AFLW, And you look at all the stats, and I was actually speaking to Andrew Dillon about it a couple of weeks ago on the way back from Darwin when we played Essendon in the Dreamtime game over a couple of froths at the Darwin. They don't have a lounge, so I had to sit in the pub.
What?
And I was sitting there watching Katie Brennan's highlights on the laptop. This is what I do now. And then Andrew Dillon was there, and we ended up catching up and having a beer. And I was talking about and he said the growth in footy for women, young girls, is through the roof. Like, biggest growing sport in Australia. 52% of the membership for AFL men is all women. Like, women dominate our sport, whether it's W or male. So I think the thing that I've fallen in love with is you go in there and it's just happy.
Yep.
They're all happy. Like, you walk into a footy sheds with the boys and it's like, blah, blah, like miserable sometimes.
Yeah,
like,
it's a job.
Yeah, and it's
Boring.
like, oh, we're going out, I've got to do this and I've got to train. But the girls are like, what can I do? Can I do this? Can I do that? And they just want to do everything all the time. And I'm like, because I've got 8, like, I'm like, I'm in. What are we doing? And I heard a few of the girls that have done interviews
They're like,
and stuff.
Fev, not now.
Yeah, they're like, bro, you need to calm down. I think one of the girls did say I'm like a
it's 2 a.m.
14-year-old kid at a park doing like markers up. But I just think it's so beneficial to me because like I've reached out to players in the AFL men's to help with goal kicking and they just said, no, I'm good. Like, I've done that a few times.
Tell you some clubs that need it.
And I'm like, I've seen you kick, bro. You're not good. But then with the girls, they want to do everything. They want to learn, and obviously because of the men and the men's program and the AFLW program, they coexist in the same facilities, and the girls work so much harder. They do so much more. They get paid shit. They're not doing it because they want anything other than they want to be good at the sport. It's not because of, you could be on 1.5 million in the men's and, it's my job, I've got to play footy. But these girls are getting paid literal peanuts and they're in there more than the boys. They're training, they're watching their tape, they're doing their recovery, they're doing their skills, they're just everything possible because they just want to get better because they love footy so much. And that inspires me because it's like, I can help that in a way. Or maybe I can't, but I'm there trying. And I think that's what I've fallen in love with because they do listen and I'm a part of it. And you feel worth. Like, it's like, hey, we're doing this together. And they've just got a real bond. Like, you sit in the rooms, like, when team meetings are on and stuff, and we just watch our tapes. Like, when the coach would put the tape up and we're all like, yeah. The girls are like roaring, hey, well done, girl. Like, this is a fucking party. What's going on in here? And it's like before the game, they got songs on and they're all bopping. I'm like, bloody hell. It feels like the discos back in the day.
The
like,
pre-game dancing is such a
I'm
vibe.
like sitting there, I'm like, woo. And I think on the weekend, Ferg actually said to me, like, one of the girls, Braz, played her first game for the Tigers and she's a ripper. She's been in the obviously AFLW for 10 years. Didn't get picked for the first couple of weeks and had to go play scrimmage, which is hard. Going to play a scrimmage with all 48,000 different people.
It's crazy.
Crazy. No game plan. And she's been out there and she's such a leader. And I was sitting, I realised where I was at the time because I'm like, holy shit, I shouldn't be sitting here. I was sitting with all the girls and all the coaches were down the ground. I thought I was part of it. I was sitting in the, like, I'm like, oh shit, I'm in the wrong seat here. And I seen them looking at me going, oh God, but I actually feel like I'm playing. And I think that's just a good vibe. And, the stuff they do, everyone's so happy.
Do you think that you would have probably had the same love for this if you weren't a girl dad?
That's a great question.
And it's
'cause
probably
I don't know.
Totally. I guess that's being a girl dad would absolutely help you be able to communicate with them, though.
Oh, 100%. It's like, I get it. Like, I know what's going on because obviously having 4 girls and they're all hopeless at footy. Like,
I was going to
How does
ask
that
that.
feel?
they
How
are
does that
so
feel?
bad. So now I've finally got 31 kids that can play.
Not even Lenny post amazing race. She's not feeling fit, ready to rumble.
They can't play. Tobes is my last chance, and she loves the Tigers, and they love her. And it's like she comes to training with me, and she doesn't want to go to school anymore. She's like, "Can I come to Tigers training?"
Well, that's like father like daughter.
Yeah, and I'm like, I'd love you to come, but they love her. They do everything with her. And they're like, she can run out. They got her a jumper.
So she's going to be a Tigers
She's
fan,
a
not Carlton?
Yeah, but when we played the Legends game, she's like, I want to wear the Carlton jumper. And I go, no, I want you to wear the Richmond jumper because she's got a little number 9 for Katie and number 9 for G and number 3 for Katie. And she's like, this is not the girls. Carlton is the boys,
Yeah.
and if it was the girls playing, I would wear the Richmond jumper.
Yes,
and I'm like,
oh,
oh,
it's
you're
cute.
so cute. And they just love her. So it's so good to have that. So I think she might be a chance. But I remember the first game, I think Caitlin kicked a goal from outside 50, and we've been doing a heap of work on her goal kicking, and a few people said that she's not going to make the distance, and I go, she'll make it in the box, and then she kicked it, and Emma Grant, who's one of the greatest people I've ever met, we work along. I call her, I'm her handbag. So like I'm like
Man bag.
Yeah, like, I'm literally, we say handbag, and she every message she writes to me, she puts a handbag at the end of it. So I'm like, do you want me to get the cones? I'm picking up cones and shit. Like I've never picked up a cone in my life. I'm like putting cones out. I'm picking them up for her. She gave me a knuckles and was like so happy, and I was like, it felt like she was my kid.
Yeah.
I was so proud that she went back and kicked it, and I don't think I ever had that feeling in footy before. It's such a different feeling.
Progression doesn't come naturally.
Yeah,
kind of
it's
thing.
like with playing and that, like I just knew I was good, which without being arrogant, like I knew, like if I played shit, it was my own fault because I mentally just checked out. But when you're kicking goals and stuff, you're in there. But when you actually put the work into certain individuals and then they do what you said on the ground, it's like you're so proud. And that's something I never got from footy. So when you say, would I do that with the girls? I'd probably say I would have found my way into it because I think if you're destined for something, you end up finding your way there. But being a girl dad, I think it's made that transition easier. I remember going up to one of the players and she was like, oh, she's on the ground. I go, you all right? Did you hurt your tummy? She goes, no, I got my period. And I'm like, cool, yep, I get it.
You know all about that.
But it's like such different chat to what the boys.
5.
Yeah, and I'm like, I get it. I should have just picked it. But it's
Which
just
a lot of other male and we've talked about this before on the pod. A lot of other male coaches, sometimes through no fault of their own, they just haven't. They don't have females in their lives. They actually just it's something they're not cognizant of. They're not aware of it.
Yeah, and I always think I'll go like, obviously, women are amazing. And you go through birth and you have babies and just everything. You have your periods, you have all this crap that you have. We have nothing. And you're going out there every day, working, training.
Sometimes you get the man flu.
You get the man. I get the man flu and I'm done for a week. But it's like, some parents have got kids. Like some of the players have got kids and
birth
and it's just like amazing. Like it's so powerful.
So you're not skeptical at all on it. What would you say to the people who are skeptical of it, who want to shit can it no matter what?
Yeah.
How do you get them to become fans? What does the AFLW need to do to get them on board?
Well, I think the AFLW is on the right track. I think the crowds are still great. And the quality of footy is like this year's been really good. The top teams are elite.
Really good.
They're really good. And I think, like Lenny played her first year of footy. I think she was 11 and she played for the Hampton Rovers and there was a young girl in their team. And I just said straight away, first game they got beat by 100-something points in like a 20-minute game. They were poo because they never
tough day out.
Oh mate, they'd never played
Giants.
before. It was like a little ground, and there was this young girl, and she was an absolute superstar. And I was like, she's going to get drafted. And then she got drafted this year. She went to Hawthorn, picked 23. So that crop is now coming through. So they've been playing footy since they were young, and I think. No offense to you, Georgie, but they're not getting the
Cross-coders.
They're not getting the cross-coders now.
I'm aware
you can play volleyball, you can play hockey. Oh, geez, you're a long jumper, you're a runner. Hey, come play AFLW. It's a new sport, and then just chuck these girls into the deep end and say, here's the product. Everyone watch it. It's hard to do. You can't just pick it up.
Yeah.
Like
It's a difficult sport.
it takes a lot of practice to get to the elite level, and I think where our game is now, I think it's there, and in the next couple of years, it's going to be elite.
Be patient.
And I think that the main thing for me is, like, I've been trying to push this, and I think I will continue. The girls need to play before the AFL, because I look at the draw now, and after next week, we're halfway through the season. 6 games are done, and they've got 6 left. We train all this time. They put in so much work. Make the season a little bit longer, play before the males. And I spoke to Andrew Dillon about this, and I got his points where it might not work because all the sponsorships had all changed for different teams and on the ground at that time. But mate, you can fix that. It's not hard to fix.
figure it out.
And we'll figure that out. But to have that spectacle where the girls, because when I first started, I was in the reserves and we'd play before the seniors. And you'd play you'd finish like an hour or a half before, whatever, but the crowd starts coming in and it's like, this is exciting.
And
You're playing
it's
at the MCG.
aspiration,
Yeah.
yeah.
And we talk about the viewership of women. Young girls go to the footy at the MCG and they can see a girls' game on and go, geez, I want to do that. Then they can watch the men afterwards. Like it's just it could be a great spectacle. So hopefully it gets there. That'll really kickstart AFLW in that way. But I think everything's going well. I actually think it's in a good spot. And I don't see many people shit can it as much as they used to. You look at some of the teams, there's been 5 or 6 100-point games. Like Taylor Harris is kicking, Chloe Malloy is a superstar. She's kicking 7s and 5s straight after an ACL. And I did see her, we played North Sydney the first game against Sydney. And I said to her, don't kick too many goals today. She dominated.
Well, that went well.
And then because you've been to have you played at North Sydney? Have you been to that ground?
Yeah.
So the rooms are literally, your rooms are there and our rooms are there. And there's that little tunnel that goes up. And when she'd done a few interviews and I was standing outside and I go, well played, mate. And she gave me a hug and she goes, I was kicked when I was having my set shot for my last goal. Oh, I was thinking, fuck you, Fev. This is going straight to the middle. Because you would have played. Did you play with?
I would play with
Chloe. Yeah.
She's
and
great.
that's how I started watching the AFLW because she was literally my favourite player.
Yeah.
She's an absolute superstar, and I just loved watching her play. And then I used to text her, going, "Mate, you're dominating," blah blah blah. So we've had that sort of friendship, and then and then be able to coach against her is really cool.
Yeah.
Never thought I'd be able to do that.
Yeah. It's so good hearing someone because I don't know if you will agree with this. My impression as a 30-something-year-old woman would be that
30-something.
Really something, so that's high end.
25 plus something
See,
woman
25. See
would
what number she used there?
would be that the era that you played footy, very blokey. There wasn't professional women's teams.
Yeah.
Blokey vibe, less women working in footy in general, obviously, and obviously no AFLW teams. Now, do you see a shift in the way that people speak to you about footy or the way that people speak about AFLW? Because you're right, at the start of AFLW, everyone was just saying, well, this is shit compared to the men's.
Yeah.
But the whole point is, well, we're not comparing it because they're two different
100%.
things. So if someone comes up to you and says, why are you working at AFLW? What are you doing? How are you trying to turn that around?
And I'll tell you what, so many people have come up to me and spoke about the girl. Like, it's obviously previously never happened before. And it was always like when I had kids, they were like, oh, God, when are you having a boy? We need a boy to play footy. And it's like, but that was the old school, like, boy to play footy. But now with AFLW, like, the girls can play footy. And you look at Annie McKay, who was one of my teammates. He's got 2 daughters who are superstars. Yeah. One's a skipper of the Blues. And there's
one rising star this week.
And she dominated. She's a freak. And I got the privilege of watching her in...
You got Toby, maybe?
Well, I got Toby in the practice game when we played the Blues, so that was weird. That was my first ever game as a Richmond person at Icon Park, and I walked in and I was like, God, this is weird. I was all in my Richmond kit and all the Carlton people just looking at me, and I'm like, what are the chances of my first game as a thing? I'm at Carlton, with Carlton. So I walked through the halls and saw my Hall of Fame up there, but another story. Don't worry about that.
You scroll that every night before you go to
neither
bed.
here nor
Hall of
there.
Fame, Coleman, Blazers.
Yeah, got a lot. But I think, well, my message is how good it is and how much the girls love it, how much they train, how much they invest. And it is a professional job for them now, which is great. Their pay's going up, not high enough, but it's getting there. And I just pump it up. So watch it. Watch the girl. And I've got mates who are watching it now and they're sitting at home. And even like Nick Cody, who I work with, probably never watched an AFLW game in his life.
Blokiest league.
But just he's watching it. Your mate
He's a
Leon,
Bombers fan and they're pretty
he's
handy.
watching it. Like we've got people watching it, which is great. And the more people that watch it and support it, the game's going to be great anyway. But the more people that watch it and get to experience how good the female athletes are in the AFLW, I think it's only going to be good for footy and inspiring for the girls. Like young girls that want to play footy, to be looking at a Katie Brennan, Amon Conti,
God, good, isn't she?
Ali McKenzie, who's an absolute superstar, and then you look at all the other superstars around the league. I looked at Tony Lockett but now the girls can look at these guys and say, hey, I want to be like her. I want to play footy.
Do you think we'll let you go in a minute? This is meant to only take 15, 20.
Sorry.
But no, but I know I'm so.
This is sort of my job. Like
It's
on
sort
radio.
of it's so nice to have someone who is so respected by the footy world respect what we really love, and it's something that I think men have a really important part to play in this, and particularly never a former star, particularly stars like you. But do you think that this, like the women being part of the clubs, sort of completes the club and makes the game a better space for everybody, particularly in the clubland?
Yeah, I think it does. I think, look, like our coaching staff, so we've got Shawnee Hampson, who I played with at Carlton, and Ryan Ferguson's our senior coach, who's brilliant. He played at Melbourne. So the old AFL players that have played to come into the AFLW system, I think helps. Not saying that, Granny's obviously played as well, and she's could be the best person ever, coming in and helping facilitate that. And then I think the senior players at clubs would see that we're there. And I think that they'd not that they don't respect it, but go, hey, this is a thing and this is happening. So
it's endorsing it, though.
If we don't like it, deal with it. The girls are taken over, mate. Like, we're coming in and we're there, and I think it helps when a club, like the Tigers, like literally, I don't know how they do it, but they'll have a meeting, and then whoever's working the timetable would be a freaking nightmare, because we take the ground, they have this, but they all interact and they're doing stuff together, the weight room and stuff. And I think it's really healthy. I think it's healthy for the boys to understand how much the girls do, and it's great for the girls to learn off the boys as well, because they're professionals as well, to see how does a Tom Lynch go about it, and for a forward to watch him and the way he trains, you're getting front row tickets to see how a premiership player goes about it, and then you might change little things, but if you're not involved in clubland, you don't get that access. So I think that's really important to see the training that the boys do and the training the girls do, and they can pick up, and because it's so elite now, you've got to be so fit, the healthiness, the way you eat, which is why
Speaking about that,
yeah.
Are you training with them? Because
I do train. I get out there.
You're looking fit as I've seen you.
I know, but I'm usually going home now. Like, I'd be at home. I'd be on my breastfeeding recliner. I've got a breastfeeding recliner. It's the best.
I have a pregnancy pillow. No pregnancy to speak of.
Yeah,
the pregnancy pillow is unbelievable.
Oh, but this recliner.
I'm missing a beat here, guys.
No, so I went and got.
Pregnant women know how to be
I
comfortable.
went and got an infusion thing. It was a friend of ours, so I got it in. I sat on their chair, and you go back, and I was like, fuck, this is the most comfortable chair I've ever been on. What is it? And she sent me the link. So we've got at home, we've got like a family of Lucias, which is all the kids and Alex and myself. And I said, hun, we're buying these chairs. And I didn't even look at the link, and I sent it, and it come up pregnancy chair. So it's where mothers breastfeed. So they're so comfortable. So we got two of them, and they're the most comfortable thing. So I sit there and I'll be eating a souvlaki, hot chips or whatever, gravy, bottle of red. That's been my life. And now I'm like eating all the healthy stuff that Paul cooks, the chef at Richmond, with all the girls, and I'm like, mate, this is grouse.
So you're
I'm shredding, shredding for stereo, which is awesome. But yeah,
shirts off. You're always picking
the shirts.
when it's skins versus shirts. It's shotgun.
Nah, I'm not taking the shirt off. No way. There's still a lot of fat going around, but literally could not be happier. Like, AFLW is something that I never thought I'd do, and thanks to Craig Kelly for making me go down to Collingwood. But it's so weird how something like that can turn into something that I'm like so invested in.
Sliding doors moment.
It's so weird, and like thoroughly enjoying it. So I'm really happy.
Fev, as Georgie said before, it's just such a breath of fresh air to have someone like you, so notable in the footy community, that's so passionate about the same thing as us. So thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
And it's unpaid as well, I will say that,
yeah.
Which is unlike Fev to do an unpaid.
So's working at the Tigers.
Thanks, Fev.
There's no cashy.
Thank you so much. Let's take a look at what we're keeping tabs on this week. Georgie, brought to you by Tab.
Well, we actually had been on Ghana Watch from the start, hadn't we? Because I said that she's going to win.
We've been on a stakeout.
Yeah, well, she's
Garden
been
Street.
on on the best and fairest watch, but she might have to pull herself off that because of her injury. However, we're back on Ghana watch because she's hoping to play this weekend, and I know then the reason why is because it's the grand final replay. They want to assert dominance on the Brisbane Lions. And, well, the other tab is keeping Brisbane Lions outside the 8. They've only won the 2 matches this year. So keeping tabs on Jazzy Garner. Hopefully she sets herself on the pitch. And hopefully they go the first reigning premiership side to win the next follow-up match against the team they played in the grand final and continue their winning streak alive. So Ghana, North Melbourne, Brisbane Lions, watch on tabs. Thanks to Tab.
Looking ahead to round 5 of AFLW, the 3AW broadcast will be covering Hawthorn versus the Adelaide Crows on Sunday at Kinetic Stadium in Franga. That should be a good game. I quite like Franga. I think it is a good venue. If you live nearby, it's more convenient. But I think it's a good. I can already see twitching. It's far from where you live.
No, it's a bit windy, but it's the match of the round though.
Yeah, match of the round is going to be North Melbourne and the Brisbane Lions.
I'm interested to see if Brisbane, who have not played the way we'd expect them to this year, but they haven't been getting wins. North Melbourne though are playing exactly how everyone expected. I don't see them losing.
Yeah,
ever.
And you mentioned in our keeping tabs section, there is this tradition now that in the grand final rematch the next year, the runner-up always wins. So either way, some record's got to be broken this weekend because either North are going to win
and continue their winning streak of
which will be
22 matches, one match, something.
Yeah,
over 20 matches.
Something. Yeah. Haven't lost since 2023. Wow. Or the Lions will win and keep that alive. If I was a betting person, I'd say North are just evidently too hard to stop.
They're heads and shoulders above the next best side.
Well,
they don't even have
162%, apparently.
This should be a great game though, just knowing. And Brisbane were embarrassed last year, so they'll want to in the grand final by not really scoring. So they'll be wanting to, they would have been, I think, training for this match particularly. I think most teams will be training to how do we beat North Melbourne.
They will indeed.
Yep.
Thank you so much for listening this week and to Fev for joining us. Please follow AFLW Weekly wherever you get your podcasts. Follow us on Instagram and get involved. Thank you so much to the listeners that did slide into our DMs with a couple of solutions on our conversation last week.
I'd be moving the season, but I'm not in charge.
We're working on it in the background. We'll let you know when we come up with it. Thank you so much for listening. We'll be back in your ears next week.